My family loved him. That was the cruel part. They welcomed him with smiles, laughed at his jokes, praised him as he belonged. They just didn't know I loved him. And if they ever found out, I would lose everything. He came into my life quietly. No drama, no warning, just one introduction at a family gathering. "This is Daniel," my uncle said. "He'll be staying with us for a while." Daniel smiled at me, not the polite smile you give strangers, the kind that lingers. I looked away first. I learned early how to hide. Daniel fit in too easily. He helped my mom in the kitchen without being asked. Sat with my dad late into the night talking about life. Listened more than he spoke. Everyone adored him. I told myself that meant nothing. I told myself I didn't notice the way my chest tightened when he laughed, or how I felt calmer when he was in the room. I told myself I was imagining it, until one night proved I wasn't. Couldn't sleep. The house was quiet, heavy with that late-night silence where thoughts get loud. I went to the kitchen for water, and found him there. Daniel stood by the window, shirt sleeves rolled up, staring out like he was somewhere far away. "Oh, sorry," I said, stepping back. "Didn't mean to interrupt." "You didn't," he replied softly. I couldn't sleep either. Something about the way he said it felt personal. We stood there awkwardly for a moment. Then he smiled. "You always disappear when there are too many people around." I froze. "You noticed?" He nodded. "I notice a lot. That scared me more than it should have." We talked quietly, about nothing important, about everything important. How strange it felt to belong in places that didn't fully see you. How exhausting it was to pretend. "You ever feel like you're playing a role?" he asked suddenly. All the air left my lungs. "Yes," I said. Our eyes met. Something passed between us. Recognition. Understanding. Danger. That was the moment I realized the truth. This wasn't just attraction. This was a connection. And connection was the one thing my family would never forgive. Footsteps echoed down the hallway. I stepped away from him instinctively. He noticed. His expression changed, not hurt, just aware. "Sorry," I said quickly. My family." "I know," he said gently. "I wouldn't want to cause trouble." That word hit hard. Trouble. Because loving him would be exactly that. As I walked back to my room, my heart pounding, one thought kept repeating in my head. I didn't just fall for someone my family wouldn't accept. I fell for someone who saw me. And once you're seen, hiding becomes impossible. After that night in the kitchen, I tried to act normal. Normal smiles. Normal conversations. Normal distance. But Daniel didn't stop noticing. At breakfast, he'd glance at me before anyone else spoke. At dinner, he'd sit where he could see me without turning his head. And when the house got loud, he'd lower his voice just for me. Felt intentional. Felt dangerous. One afternoon, my mom sent us both to the market. "Take Daniel with you," she said cheerfully. "You two can keep each other company." I wanted to refuse. I didn't. The walk was quiet at first. Street noise, distant laughter, the normal sounds of life moving forward, while my heart stayed stuck. "You don't talk much around your family," Daniel said gently. I shrugged. "I'm just not like them." He nodded like that answer made sense. I figured. We stopped at a stall, waiting for change. "You don't pretend with me," he added softly. My chest tightened. "I don't know how." He looked at me then, not curious, not amused. "Careful." "That makes me want to be careful too," he said. I didn't ask what he meant. I was afraid I already knew. That night, there was laughter downstairs. A movie is playing. Too many voices. I slipped outside to the back porch, needing air. A few minutes later, the door creaked open. Daniel stepped out, hands in his pockets. "You disappeared," he said. "I needed quiet." "Me too," he replied. We stood side by side, not touching, staring into the dark. "I don't want to make this harder for you," he said suddenly. My heart skipped. "Make what harder?" He turned toward me. "Whatever you're carrying," he said. "I can feel it." The honesty in his voice unraveled me. "I don't know what you think you feel," I whispered, "but this can't go anywhere." He didn't argue. He just nodded slowly. "I know," he said. "That doesn't make it disappear." The porch light flickered above us, warm and unforgiving. I wanted to step away. Instead, I stayed. Later, as we went back inside, his hand brushed mine. Just once. Accidental. But neither of us pretended it was nothing. He looked at me, eyes full of something unspoken. And in that moment, I realized the truth was shifting. I wasn't just afraid my family would find out. I was afraid that Daniel already knew. After that night on the porch, I stopped sleeping well. Every sound in the house felt louder. Every look from Daniel felt closer. I started avoiding him. Not because I wanted distance, but because I didn't trust myself around him anymore. He noticed. Of course he did. "You've been quiet," he said one morning when we were alone in the kitchen. I kept my eyes on my cup. "Just tired." He didn't push. That made it worse. The house was busy that afternoon. Relatives coming in and out. Voices overlapping. Too much noise. I slipped into my room and shut the door. A few minutes later, there was a soft knock. "Hey," Daniel said from the other side. "It's me." My heart started racing. I opened the door just enough to look at him. "Is everything okay?" he asked. I hesitated, then nodded. "Yeah, just needed a minute." He glanced down the hallway, then back at me. "Can I come in?" he asked gently. I should have said no. I stepped aside instead. We stood in my room like two people unsure of where to put their hands. "This isn't about being tired, is it?" he asked. I shook my head. He waited. That patience broke me. "I don't get to be myself here," I said quietly. "Not fully." He listened without interrupting. "My family loves me," I continued, "but only the version of me they understand." Daniel's voice was soft. "And the rest?" I swallowed hard. "The rest scares them." Silence filled the room. "I don't want to hurt them," I said. "But I'm so tired of pretending." Daniel stepped closer, not touching, just present. "You don't have to pretend with me," he said. That was the moment my eyes burned. "Why do you keep saying that?" I whispered. He met my gaze. "Because I know what it feels like to be loved conditionally." My breath caught. He reached out slowly, stopping just short of my hand. "Whatever your secret is," he said, "it doesn't make you less." I closed my eyes. And for the first time, I let myself say the truth out loud. "I like men." The words hung in the air. When I opened my eyes, Daniel hadn't stepped back. He was still there, still calm, still looking at me like I hadn't shattered something. "Thank you for trusting me," he said quietly. Relief washed over me so hard my knees felt weak. But then his voice changed just slightly. "There's something I should tell you, too." My heart skipped. "What?" He took a breath. "I feel something for you," he said, "and I don't know what to do with it." The room felt smaller, warmer, dangerous. "I don't expect anything," he added quickly. "I just don't want to lie." I stared at him, heart pounding, because suddenly, the secret wasn't just mine anymore. And loving him wasn't just forbidden. It was mutual. After that conversation in my room, we became careful. Too careful. We didn't sit next to each other at dinner anymore. Didn't linger in the same room. Didn't talk unless someone else was around. But avoidance has a way of making feelings louder. Every glance felt loaded. Every silence felt intentional. And then came the night my family decided to celebrate. Laughter filled the house. The music played too loudly. Everyone was relaxed. Everyone except me. I slipped outside, the night air cool against my skin. A few moments later, I heard the door open behind me. "Daniel, I thought you might be out here," he said softly. I didn't turn around. I needed space. "Me too," he replied. We stood side by side, staring at the dark yard. "I keep thinking about what you told me," he said, "and about what I told you." My chest tightened. "Me too. I don't want to make this harder," he continued. "For you. For your family." I know, I said. That's why this can't happen. He nodded, but his voice was quiet when he answered. Sometimes knowing something can't happen doesn't stop it from feeling real. That honesty unraveled me. I finally turned to face him. We were close. Too close. I wish things were different, I whispered. So do I, he said. For a moment, neither of us moved. Then he lifted his hand, slowly, like he was asking permission without words. I didn't stop him. His fingers brushed mine. Warm, careful, grounding. It wasn't a kiss. It wasn't dramatic. Just two people holding on to something they weren't allowed to want. Footsteps sounded inside the house. We pulled apart instantly. Daniel stepped back, pain flickering across his face before he hit it. I'm sorry, he said. I shouldn't have. No, I interrupted. You didn't do anything wrong. But we both knew the truth. What we felt wasn't wrong. It was just dangerous. As we went back inside, my heart pounding, one thought echoed in my mind. If one touch could feel like this, what would happen when the truth finally came out? After that night, the house felt different. Not colder, just watchful. My mother started asking questions. My aunt watched the way Daniel and I moved around each other. Even my father glanced at me longer than usual, like he was trying to read something written on my face. I became careful with my smiles, with my tone, with where I stood. Daniel noticed. You're holding your breath all the time, he whispered one morning when no one else was around. I'm scared, I admitted. Of them? He asked. Of losing them, I said. And of losing you. That truth sat heavily between us. That afternoon, my mother asked me to help her in the kitchen. She moved slowly, deliberately. You and Daniel get along well, she said casually. My heart skipped. Yeah, he's easy to talk to. She nodded. You seem calmer when he's around. I froze. I just want you to be happy, she added softly. That almost broke me, because she didn't know what happiness would cost me. That night, Daniel found me sitting on my bed, fully dressed, lights off. They're starting to notice, I whispered. He sat beside me, careful not to touch. I don't want to be the reason you lose your family, he said. You're not, I replied. They're just not ready for all of me. Silence stretched. Then he said something that scared me more than anything else. I don't want to be a secret. I looked at him, not accusing, not demanding, just honest. I know, I said, voice shaking, and I don't want to hide you. He took a breath. Then maybe the question isn't whether they'll accept us. My chest tightened. What is it then? It's whether you're ready to choose yourself. I turned away, tears burning, because choosing myself felt like choosing loss. Later that night, the house asleep, Daniel stood at the doorway of my room. I'm not asking you to decide tonight, he said quietly. I just don't want to pretend this doesn't matter. I stepped closer. For a moment, I thought he might kiss me. He didn't. Instead, he rested his forehead against mine. Warm, steady, safe. No matter what you choose, he whispered. I see you. And in that moment, I realized something terrifying and beautiful. Love wasn't asking me to run. It was asking me to be brave. The truth didn't come out the way I imagined. There was no shouting, no dramatic confrontation, just one quiet evening. We were all sitting together after dinner. The house was calm, almost peaceful, and suddenly, I couldn't breathe anymore. I need to say something, I said. Everyone looked at me. Daniel stayed still. He didn't touch me, didn't interrupt, but he didn't look away either. I've spent most of my life trying to be who you needed me to be, I continued, my voice shaking. And I did that because I love you. My mother frowned slightly. My father leaned forward. But I can't keep hiding parts of myself, I said. And I can't keep pretending the person I love doesn't matter. Silence filled the room. Heavy. Terrifying. I love Daniel, I said quietly. I expected anger. What I got instead was pain. My mother's eyes filled with tears. My father closed his eyes slowly. This is hard for us, my mother said. You know that. I know, I replied. But hiding has been hard for me too. Daniel finally spoke. I never meant to cause harm, he said calmly. I care about your son. I want him safe. I want him whole. That word whole changed something. The weeks that followed weren't easy. There were awkward conversations, long silences, boundaries that needed time. But there was also something else. Effort. My family didn't shut the door. They asked questions. They tried. And I stayed. I didn't run away this time. One evening, months later, Daniel and I sat on the back porch. The same place where everything almost broke. You okay? He asked. I smiled softly. Yeah, I really am. He took my hand openly now. No fear. I never wanted to be the reason you lost your family, he said. You weren't, I replied. You were the reason I found myself. He leaned in and kissed me. Not rushed, not hidden, just warm, just real. Inside, my mother watched us through the window. She didn't look angry. She looked thoughtful. And when I went inside later, she touched my arm gently and said, I don't understand everything yet, but I see how happy you are. That was enough. That night, as I lay beside Daniel, his arm around me, I finally understood something simple and true. Love doesn't always arrive where it's welcomed. Sometimes it arrives where it's needed most. And when you choose it, when you stand in it, when you stop hiding, it doesn't destroy your life. It teaches people how to see you. And this time, I was seen.